everybody, and welcome to the Building Excellence Podcast. This is a podcast that's really all about a bunch of people who really love and value you. And they just set aside some time to share any nuggets or thoughts or ideas or wisdom that they've gained along the way that they think would help you build excellence in some area of your life. And today, y'all are in for a special treat. Today is what I'm going to call Building Excellence Finance Day. All right. And for those who know me well, I like money. Okay. I like having a lot of money. Somebody once told me the more budget, the more you have to be able to accomplish your vision. So the bigger the vision, the more budget you need. Okay. And things that I would say are most challenging for me is learning how to steward my finances well, my personal finances with my home, teaching finance like best practices to my family, to my children, and also business finance. I'm an owner of a company. It's a construction and development company called Cosmopolitan Construction, and it's always a challenge for me there to learn. Okay, what are the best practices? What are the most wise things that I need to do with the money that I have? And then also, what are the things that I need to do to position myself to get more money so that I can make more money so I can use that to accomplish the vision that God has for my life. One of the things that I think is going to bless you guys today is I actually asked someone I would call a superhero in my life. All right. Many people need people who are really gifted and have the special set of skills to help them go from good to great, to help them go from vision to realization. And this person is a phenomenal friend of mine. And a superhero in not only my eyes, in the eyes of many, a person with tremendous character, tremendous integrity, wonderful family. His name is Daniel Haynes, and I'm going to let him introduce not only, I would say, tell you guys who he is, but I also want him to tell you what his business is, what his business is about. So I told you his name. Now you get to see him by face. Come on, Daniel, please introduce yourself. Tell everybody, man, a little bit about you, kind of where you're from, the name of your company, and kind of what your company is about. So let's start off with, man, where you from, man?
Man, I am from Boynton, Oklahoma.
Boynton. Help people understand how big is Boynton exactly?
It's a town of probably about, when I was there, it's about 200 people, but now it's probably about 100 maybe, but a very, very small town between Okmulgee and Muskogee if you're from Oklahoma.
All right, man.
Yeah.
Well, so tell us a little bit about your company, your background, for people that really don't understand what you do.
Yeah, so I'm the CEO of Skyward Financial Solutions. So Skyward Financial Solutions is an accounting and finance firm geared towards helping small businesses and mid-sized businesses as well as nonprofits with their accounting needs. We also serve individuals with their personal and family finance as well.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay, so you are the CEO of accounting and finance company. How did somebody like you from a small town that was 200, now 100, end up the CEO of an accounting and finance company?
Yeah, so I'll just take you back to just even being exposed to accounting. So I was exposed to accounting actually in high school. I actually moved to Tulsa with my dad in high school. So I was exposed to accounting in high school, took the class, loved it. I knew when I took it that I was going to be an accountant one day. That was my dream because I was like the only one in class, that loved accounting, So I ended up majoring with it at college at Oklahoma Christian University where I got my bachelor's there. So been working various accounting jobs and, just last year decided to like, you know what, I really want to help more small businesses, with this because I know it was a need out there. So I definitely wanted to kind of branch out away from working for one company and decided to I really want to be an asset and serve multiple companies. Because, it was one day where my boss at my previous company asked, what do you want to do, with your career and things like that? We have some ideas. Like, you know what? I can care less about a title, like my goal in my career is just to serve as many people as possible, So as I continue just to ask myself that question, Skyward, was the answer to that. In order for me to serve as many people as possible, it was time for me to branch out and serve as many people as possible.
Okay. So let me ask you this. Before I ask the question, I got to give some context.
Hmm.
Accounting and finance is, I'm going to say, a language that many people don't
Yep.
understand. In the simplest way that you can explain,
Hmm.
okay, why does Skyward exist?
Hmm.
Like, what do you do?
Yeah, so Skyward exists to pretty much handle the accounting for
So
companies.
what is accounting?
So accounting will be more so your rear view mirror for in the day-to-day transaction of what's going on financially in the business. So if you spend, $10 at Lowe's, like I'm categorizing it, in the right category and things like that, performing your profit and loss statements and other reports as well that a small business, owner may need, as well. So that's the more so the accounting piece, the accounting component of what we do on a day-to-day basis.
Okay. So accounting is a rear view mirror look at money that you've spent.
100%.
Got it. So y'all already learning. All right. Accounting is a rear view mirror look at what you spent. So when it comes to helping a company manage their expenses, like like help us understand why somebody would need something like that.
Yeah, so pretty much why someone would need that because it really alleviates the CEO from doing it themselves. And
Mm,
also by outsourcing it too as well, you don't have to pay a full-time accountant, to handle that. So it's actually better for your bottom line by outsourcing it as well because I've been an accountant my entire career and they can be expensive.
okay.
100%. So it's definitely one of the best things I love about what I do is be able to give back time to CEOs and their staff. So their staff who can focus on other things that they're actually hired to do outside of the accounting and finance component too as well. So and that part of it is really immeasurable. In my eyes, being able to for a CEO to actually run his business. And
Mm,
not man, where are these seats? Where are these receipts at? Let me make sure I got them all and things like that. So I actually love being able to give back time to CEOs and their staff by handling the day-to-day accounting.
okay. You said something right there that I think that many CEOs around the world need to hear. You say you wanted to give them back some time. Will you look at them CEOs, okay, and,
Yes.
and tell them get their time back? Just
See,
just just, just
get your
talk to
time back. People like me exist so you can really focus on your business and not only your business, but also even your family as well. So the more time you have, the more time you get to spend it on things that as well as people that you love too as well. So definitely get your time back.
me. So good. Okay, uh, so one of the things that Skyward does is that it handles the accounting,
Hmm.
which is a rear view look at the money that you spend as a company. You take that load off of their shoulders, you categorize it, you're able to produce reports. Got it. Okay. Is there anything else that Skyward does to help companies?
Yeah, so we actually work with CPAs and things like that too as well to get taxes filed, for companies too as well. We also more so the finance component of it is more so like the forward view, of things as far as like forecasting, not only just your budget, but also the expenses component of it too as well, as far as like, man, how much money am I going to need in 6 months?
Okay.
So I actually, that's the part, the analyses of it that I enjoy doing, the most as well. But also on the personal finance side of it, it's definitely helping, families, be profitable, just managing their household, So
Mm,
that's, as adults, I've learned that we all got to manage our household finance too as
mm.
well, and anything like me, like I've taken business classes and accounting classes, yeah, but as far as that personal family finance, wasn't really taught that, in school, wasn't taught it at home really, wasn't taught it at church. So it's like it came through learning through experience, and there's a lot of mistakes made,
Wow.
through that. So I know if that was my experience as an accounting major and
Wow.
business major, there was going to be a lot of other people, experience as well. And I just wanted to just kind of stop as many revolving doors of not knowing, what to do in certain situations, particularly even from my own family too as well, because all I know is who I was closest with growing up and things like that. I'm like, man, I wish I would have knew now so I could help all my family,
Man,
as well as my friends too as well.
man.
So, yeah. So on the personal side of that's, it's what we do as well.
Many times I hear a lot of people say that uh, they want to have generational wealth. And when they say that, they don't know the language to speak in order to produce generational wealth. One of the things that I love about the relationship that I have with Daniel, it allows me to regularly practice the language that it takes to learn how I can produce
Mm.
generational wealth for my family. And so one of the things that Daniel just mentioned is that he's a company that not only helps on the accounting side, meaning it's a rear view look at how you spent your money, but he also looks at the actual finance side, which I'm looking at a front view look of where do I need to spend my money, man. He also mentioned that for families, he can help teach families that language that's necessary, and he said a P word that is so critical for every family and is so critical for every business. That P word was profit. That P word was profit. I want to spend a little bit of time talking about that P word. Okay. Um, Daniel, if you don't mind, what is profit exactly? Help us understand what profit is.
Profit, I'm sorry. Profit is pretty much you in the black. It means you made more money than you spent. In its
Okay.
most simplest form.
In its simplest form,
Yeah.
profit is you made more money than you spent. Okay. So let's break that down a little
Hmm.
bit further. So I'm going to say this statement and you say, is it true or false?
Gotcha.
Okay. I am rich if I make a lot of money. True or false?
False.
I love it. That is one of the biggest myths on the planet. I want to make more money. Okay. And because people think that making more money makes you rich. And I cannot wait for Daniel to unpack this a little bit. Daniel, tell us, why is it false that if you make more money, you're rich?
Yeah, because you can have 10 million, in income, but if you have 11 million in expenses, you in the red a million. Uh,
Okay, hold on. I want to keep going on this one. Okay, so he's using colors. Okay, and so I want to explain the colors for a second. All right, is red a good thing or a bad
red is
thing?
absolutely not a good thing.
Okay,
It's a
okay.
bad
So
thing.
think of red like you getting cut. Okay, because whenever we get cut as humans, we bleed red. So if your business finances get cut, it bleeds red. If your personal finances get cut, it bleeds red. Red means what?
Red means you lost a lot of money.
Yeah, you in the
Yeah,
negative.
you in the negative.
And
Yeah.
so, like, if we look at our, we are, at least I know I've been there. So, whenever I got my first bank account, right, it was with Arvis Bank. I was in college, and I had a debit card. I I got some out of the debit machine, and I spent it. Then I went back to get some more money out the debit machine. It didn't give me no more money. And I went into one of my online banking to see what was going on. And the numbers was red. And I said, uh-oh, I ran out of money. So I love that color red because it really helps us understand, look, you're
Mhm.
bleeding. A mistake is happening. What color do we want our finances in?
We want them in the black. We want them
Okay.
in the black.
We want them in black. So black
100%.
means what?
Black means you're profitable.
Okay.
Black means you're profitable.
Black means
Yeah.
you're profitable. Black means you got money. Red means you don't.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. Okay, so we're talking about the big P word. The P word is profit. All right. So we want to stay out of the red. Red means we have no money. Black means we do have money. So we already destroyed one myth. One myth was, if I make a lot of money, I'm rich.
Yep.
Daniel said, no, that's not the case. If you make $10 million and spend 11 million, you you're broke. It's the B word that's broke. It's not the bad B word that's a cuss word. It's the bad B word that means you're bleeding.
Means you're bleeding.
Okay,
Yep.
so I want to talk about another B word. Okay, this is a good B word. So if we're what is something that starts with a B that helps me make a profit?
Budgeting.
Mm-mm-mm. So
Yeah.
help us understand the importance of a budget.
Oh man, I actually like the idea of a budget.
Okay.
I played basketball growing up, so a big basketball fan. Never played it, but I'm a big football fan as well. So just giving an analogy, like imagine football without no white lines around the field. It'd be
Mm.
chaos. So that's life without a budget. But as soon as you put those white lines around the field, like, oh, now we have boundaries. Now we can actually enjoy the game of football.
Mm.
So I look at budget as more so not a restriction on things that you can spend, but more so boundaries on the things that you can spend on.
Wow. Wow. What an
Yeah.
analogy. I really have to pause there because I haven't heard budgeting put in an analogy that makes me actually excited. You see, he said budgeting makes him happy and it blesses him. I'm going to say budget is a third party figure in our household. Okay, it's a person that we always talk to and fuss at whenever we can't spend what we want to spend. Uh, will you please explain that analogy one more time? Help many people at home
Mhm.
hear this because I do think that this is going to resonate. Please.
Yeah, I would say, yeah, it's more so it's boundaries on the things that you can spend.
What is it? What is?
Budgeting.
So
But yeah, budgeting is just boundaries on things that you can't spend, not necessarily a restriction on dollars that you can't. For example,
mm,
if you have $200 to spend at the nail salon, like you got $200 to spend at the nail salon, not 300, but 200. So more so, it's just more so like a mind shift. Like, man, I can't spend X, Y, and Z, but more so if it's in the budget, like, man, I get to spend X, Y, and Z. So that's why I love the concept of it being more so boundaries and really enjoying the things within those boundaries, because the greatest things in life that we enjoy most are boundaries, the things
mm.
that we do in life every day. We do them within boundaries, like driving down the road. We got that yellow line on either side of the road, yellow or white, depending on what type of road it is.
Yes.
Everything that we do is by boundaries, whether we know it or not.
Mm. So, do this for me. Tell everybody at home about the analogy that you mentioned about budgeting in sports.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Like, for example, I think most Americans love football. So imagine football with no white lines around the field, to keep, the football in play. Imagine someone going deep and they end up in the stands. It'd be chaos, but because there's white lines around the field, we're all actually able to enjoy the game of football. Either we're in the stands or at home on TV, or at home watching TV. We get to enjoy it because there's boundaries in play. So boundaries are really a great thing if you really think about it, because without boundaries, anything will lead to chaos.
Wow. Without boundaries, anything will lead to chaos. One of the biggest things that Daniel just taught us is that budgeting is nothing but boundaries. And he put a phenomenal idea and concept and analogy of the sports. If football had no boundaries, how could we play the game? How could we enjoy the game? So if you want to enjoy the game of spending, and just learn the boundaries of a budget. It's not that you can't spend, it just says, here is where you can spend. Help us understand why is it so important for us to know where we can spend and where we can't.
Yeah, I would say it's important to know because typically everyone's budget, may look a little different person to person, but it really allows, you to really lead your money. By leading your money, typically your money is going to be spent in places that you value, or places that your passion, whatever that you or your family, is passionate about and values the most. That's where your dollars are going to go.
So good.
So even just having a budget to be able to track it, and not every month will be like, yep, we landed in the black. We're talking colors and things like that too as well. But also it gives you an opportunity to learn trends even of yourself and how you're spending. But also so it's a great learning tool, for yourself too as well.
Man, let me ask you this. Is it possible to be able to attain the dream of producing generational wealth without a budget?
Absolutely not.
Man,
Absolutely not.
man, family, like it is so important that this resonates with every person that's watching us today. I think it's a dream for almost every human to say, you know what, I want to produce generational wealth for my family. And what Daniel just told us is that it is impossible to produce generational wealth without a budget. Man, so Daniel, if I'm sitting at home
Hmm.
and I need help, I want to produce generational wealth. I'm
Yeah.
working hard every single day, but I don't understand finances. I don't
Hmm.
understand the budget. I don't understand profit and loss. I don't understand accounting. I don't understand finance. Like how can I get help with that?
Yeah, I would absolutely love to help. So my email is Daniel at skywardfs.com. So it's Daniel
Wow.
at skywardfs.com.
Mm.
I would absolutely love to help anyone who may need some help with budgeting or just learning money, and things like that. So absolutely love it.
Mm. I think that's just a tremendous segue. Number one, Daniel, thank you for having a business where you're able to, I would say, exercise your superpower. Um, hit Daniel's superpower is very much different than my superpower. And in fact, I think it's going to be very much different than many of your superpowers. What makes us better is whenever we're able to combine our
Mm.
superpowers. I actually wrote down a few questions that I want us to talk about because I think that as humans, many times that we believe that we're supposed to be this superpower all by ourselves.
Mm.
We believe that we're going to be able to accomplish our purpose and destiny and create generational wealth alone,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And I just think that that's a huge myth. I wrote down this sentence. This is a place that I'm at often. This is a sentence, and I think it might resonate with you. Have you guys ever been here? I'm not where I want to be. I'm trying to get where I want to be. I just need a little help getting there. Have you guys ever been there? I'm not where I want to be, but I'm working as hard as I can to
Mm.
get where I want to be. But I need just a little bit of help getting there. I know that I've been there. One of the biggest areas where I'm not where I want to be is financially. I'm not sure if I will ever be where I want to be financially. Okay. Why do I say that? It's because y'all, I always want more money. Okay. And what I'm learning about money is the more of a student I am of money, the more money I make. One of the things I learned about money is the more I actually ask for help with people who are gifted in that area, the more money I make. And the more money I make makes me want to keep asking more questions and asking for more help. So I want to destroy this myth. This is the myth I want to destroy. The myth of I can do it all by myself. The myth of I can become great at finances all by myself. I can create generational wealth all by myself. I can run my business all by myself. I just want to talk about that for a little bit. Daniel, so right now, you are a CEO of an accounting and financial services company. As you evaluate all the different people you've ever talked to about
Hmm.
finances, all the different businesses that you've like evaluated and either looked at their information or perhaps you just were able to see them from afar.
Yeah.
Give me some, I would say, common mistakes, if you will. What are some common mistakes that you've seen that businesses or families make as it relates to money?
I would say the biggest one is feeling they can do it by themselves.
Mm,
And that's I think that's a mistake that anybody can make with any area of life is feeling like
so
you
good.
can feel like you can do it alone. I feel God has not called us to do anything alone. I feel like God has called us to do life in community. I feel like God has called us to do life in collaboration with other people too as well. as well as to lean in on experts. Like we go to a dentist for a reason. We go to our primary care physician for a reason. You know, like my wife, Raven, she has sickle cell. She goes to her sickle cell doctor
Mm.
for a specific reason, you know, and things like that too as well. So finance shouldn't be any different, you know, because it is a very extremely important part of any family, you know, or business.
So good.
Yeah.
Uh, I'm gonna say it like this because Daniel and Skyward handled my money. Okay. If you want your money to grow, hire somebody who's gifted with finances. If you want your teeth to be white, go get a dentist. If you want to get help with sickle cell, go see a sickle cell doctor, like Daniel said. Like there is a specialist in every area of life. And so if you're already a specialist with finances, well, that's your superpower. If you're not, then please find somebody who is their superpower. And I'm telling you, I trust Daniel. You should too. Hire him, okay? Um, let me ask you this. You handle our money,
Hmm.
okay? So again, I own a construction and development companies, and it's a lot of money in and a lot of expenses. Um, uh, I'm having some PTSD as I think about the past. So one of my biggest, I would say, reasons why I asked for help was my company was growing, and the more I grew, the less time I was able to spend on growth. I started actually having to manage the business. I began to become drown. I began to drown and be consumed with the day to day management of the finances. Like, okay, where did this money go? Where that money go? Okay, I need to go get that money, and I got to organize it. And the straw broke the camel's back whenever we got the year end, and my tax person said, "Hey man, I need you to give me 1099s." I said, 1099s. I said, how do I do that exactly? He said, I need you to tell me every penny that you gave to every contractor. I said, oh God. Like y'all don't understand. So for every, construction job, I mean, you're probably talking about 50 to 60 different contractors, and you're spending millions of dollars. And so for a person who didn't have an accounting or finance company working for them yet, I was stuck on my spreadsheet. uh I Me and my wife was in a room with this like bank statements, and it was an absolute nightmare. And this is what I told myself: I'm never doing this again. I said, I there's no way I can get where I want to get. There's no way that our company can be who I want it to be if I don't get some help. So then I began asking this question: who can help me? Who can help me? What I didn't realize was the person who can help me was this brother sitting right next to me. Let me tell you what my fear was. My fear was that I couldn't afford you.
Hmm.
My fear was that uh, I didn't make enough money to be able to hire another person, and I had no clue that there was a solution to that. I thought I had two options: I do it myself or pay somebody $150,000 a year to do it for me. I'm like, I don't like either option. And then along came option C,
Yeah.
which honestly ended up being my option A. I thought it was an A and B option, and there was a third option, and it was Skyward. Um, Daniel, can you help um, people out there that are a lot like me?
Hmm.
They're they're giving their life either to their business,
Yeah.
and growing is forcing them into management,
Hmm.
and now it's stunting their growth. Or they're working so hard on their job and they can't figure out time to manage the money at home. There's the idea that we can't afford help.
Yeah.
Can you speak to that a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. I would say in order to really combat that, I don't think a business that wants to reach its full potential um, cannot afford to have someone manage their accounting.
Mm,
Because there's no way you can be able to reach that full potential, as well as we were talking previously about the P word profitability, without someone telling you, okay, we're profitable.
man.
But I would say even just from the actual exit and notes, as far as like being able to afford Skyward or someone like Skyward, I'll speak specifically for Skyward. Skyward, exists to like I said, serve small to mid-sized companies, and with that, by that, the heart of is to see, you know, all of our clients succeed. So it's not just a one size fit all approach when it comes to like affordability. It's Skyward literally exists to go as a company grow. So
Wow.
whether that's a percentage based off income or just a certain agreed upon price up front, whatever the case may be, like it's not a one size fit all. Like, the pricing models is definitely built to really serve a client that they feel like, okay, yeah, that's the package I kind of want to go with, and things like that.
Mm,
So it is really built to go as a company grow.
man. Um, I hope y'all heard that because that is definitely my story. What he is saying is no matter how much money you make, at the end of the day, you're probably going to be able to afford somebody like a Skyward.
100%.
So, what he did for me is he said, Dwayne, let's agree to pay what you can afford today with the agreement that as you make more money, you pay me more money. Now, I don't know if there's a better deal in town, okay? He basically was saying, with me on your team, you go get some buckets. Going back to that sports
Yeah.
analogy, me and your team, you're going to make more money. And honestly, whenever we think about it, right? How could we not? If we actually if we know our budget and we spend our money more wisely, then how could we not make more money? In fact, the biggest gift that you gave me was my time.
Hmm.
The biggest gift that he gave me was he gave me my time back. Like the hours upon hours that I was spending doing things that I wasn't good at, he did in 15 minutes. Okay. I just have to tell each and every one of you, if you are a mom, if you're a dad, and you're like, man, I'm spending so much time on this, he can give you your time back. If you're a business owner and you're saying, man, I'm spending so much time on this, you can get your time back. And let me tell you what I did with that time. I grew the company more.
Substantially. Yeah.
It is after I brought him on board, we tripled. After we brought him on board, we tripled. And there's no way that I could have tripled if I didn't have the time to triple. So, Daniel, number one, I just want to tell you thank you. Thank you for embracing your calling to help businesses like
Yeah.
me, businesses like you, families like me, families like you, to want to be able to a grow financially, to be able to create that generational wealth, but b to get your time back so you can do that. Because honestly, without time or money, I don't think we ever gonna be able to produce that generational wealth that we talking about,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So thank you so much for that, bro.
Are you welcome? You're welcome.
So um, I want to talk about just the blessing of an expert. Okay. As you look at the people that you've helped, um, tell us any type of wins or victories that you've seen happen to companies once they've hired Skyward.
Yeah, I think you're definitely one of my biggest
Mm,
success stories.
mm,
'Cause I know just how much your company has grown. Even just this past year alone. I mean,
man.
Sky's the limit.
Is that why you call
Yeah, the
Skyward?
sky is the limit.
I love it.
But I definitely want to go back to the time component because that's the biggest reason why I do what I do. Why Skyward exists to give companies back their CEOs back their time. And I would say not only just from what you're able to do from your business standpoint, but also just kind of seeing the time you're able to spend with your kids, with your wife, and things like you're able to have date night consistently and all of that. Like that's the part that it's like I feel is the mission behind accounting and finance done right. It's more so it's putting people behind the profitability. It's putting names behind the numbers. So that's the part that, and just seeing that's the win for me. That's a big win for me. Not necessarily. Of course, I like seeing companies in the black, land in the black. Whenever I can see a client spend more time with their family, that just blesses me beyond measure. It was one particular client, share another story. One particular client, she had a lot going on and things like that, but also she had a granddaughter, had some basketball. Two granddaughters had some basketball games and things like that, and she needed to run to the bank. And I was like, oh no. I'll take those checks to the bank. You go support you go support your grandbabies and things like that. And she was able to do that, so even, with Sky, we don't look at things as in or out of scope. We look at everything. If it's within serve, we're going to do it, especially if it gives back time to a client to spend more time either with their staff or working on their business, but also more than anything for a client CEO to spend more time with their family. Because by far, a CEO's family is going to be the biggest beneficiaries of a company, being profitable or not, tangibly and intangibly.
That was absolutely phenomenal. He said, I'm not just going to give you your time back. I'm going to give you your life back. That is really good.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, what good is a life if we're not living it?
Mm.
What good is a life if we're buried in the day-to-day of finances, waking up early and coming home late? What good is a life if we're not living it? So if we can get help in the areas of life that are taking the most time from the areas we should be spending time in, then I think those are probably areas we should ask for help in. And for me, for sure, finances was definitely an area that, man, it was a lot of time that I needed to spend in it. And my good brother was able to help me get that time back and help me get that life back that I wanted. So if you're out there and you're like, man, listen, I'm having a hard time coming home on time, having a hard time spending time with my family, or you're having a hard time spending enough time to grow your company, I'm telling you, call Skyward. They're going to be able to help you and do the things that are necessary for not only to get your time back, but also to figure out how you can make more money to be able to reach your financial goals. So let me shift. There's I want to say a motto that I've began to live by, and that is that growth eats cash.
Wow.
And growth eats time. Okay. So many times people are saying, I don't think I should pay for accounting and finance services. Okay. Like it's not that I can't afford it.
Yeah.
It's just that it's just not a priority. It is, I think I need to go buy a building. I need to either own it or I need to pay rent. I need to hire some more staff to do this or that. I need to get more sales. I need to get more marketing. I guess because those things they're more sexy. Okay.
Yeah.
Can you help us understand why we need to prioritize accounting and finance help, like investing in the accounting and finance help and resources for our company?
Yeah, absolutely. Because one biggest thing is literally everything that you just named. Finance is a part of it.
Wow.
Either you want to get a building, you want to get a company vehicle, personal vehicle, hire more staff, how much you can afford to hire more staff and things like that. All of that's touching accounting and finance, whether you want to admit it or not. So just have someone to partner alongside you as you're making those decisions, you're going to be able to make even, more informed decisions and things like that. So like I said, and it's like Skyward, it's a go as you grow, so you don't have to pay like, a $10 million contract, and things like that. If it's, if profit, income is $10, hey, we'll take 50 cent, like they're just, it's the go as you grow,
Yeah, man.
so it's definitely affordable. But also it's important to have someone, whether it's Skyward or not, to have some type of accounting or finance professional walk alongside as you're making these big financial decisions for your company.
Mm. So with the idea that growth eats cash, it's so important to realize that, okay, how am I going to know how much money that I need to make in order to pay for the things that I want to do from a growth standpoint, right? So in previous episodes, I talked about the importance of a plan.
Mhm.
And so for me, I really am passionate about having a 3-year plan, saying here's what I want to be in 3 years, and then here's what I'm going to do this year to be able to reach that 3-year goal. And every one of those things ate up time and ate up money. And so if I don't have somebody that can help me look in the forward view, in view of finance, then I'm going to be lost. I'm going to basically just be wishing one day, I hope I have enough money to hire that employee. I hope I have enough money to be able to buy that building. I hope I have enough money to buy that equipment. So I just love how the go as you
Yeah.
grow. I like that
Yeah.
language. Go as you grow mindset that Skyward has. So if you're there and you're like, man, listen, I actually do want to make sure that I'm making wise decisions financially. There are goals that I have, there's staff that I want, equipment that I want, buildings that I want, there's investments that I want to spend, but I'm just not 100% sure if I have enough money to do it. Man, I'm telling you, having a company like Skyward is going to help. So growth eats cash, growth eats time. Hire somebody like Skyward. They'll help you with a go as you grow model that you can afford. I love it. Man, I just think I want to switch gears again.
Hmm.
Um, if there is somebody out there now that actually likes what you do,
Yeah.
and they're like, how do I do that?
Yeah.
Like, what would you say?
Oh man, that is such a loaded question, but a question that I'm gonna love to answer.
Okay.
I'm a firm believer that exposure leads to expansion. Like I
Wow.
was exposed to accounting in high school, and it was one of those things like going through debits and credits and bank reconciliations and things balancing out like just that feelings like oh man, it was like a 3-point basket being made or a slam dunk in in basketball terms. So I would say definitely, there's accounting in of itself. There's a lot of different avenues. You can do tax, you can do auditing, you can do, you can own your own firm like one day, like Skyward. You can do so many different things. Work for the IRS, work for Secret Service, work for the FBI. But also, it's a field where every organization needs it. So there are a ton of accounting jobs out there. So it's an industry where there's stability, industry where it pays well. So I would say first, to kind of do some Google searches on your own, just figure out okay, what type of accounting that you want to do because there's different times. You can work for a church, even work for schools. There's a lot of different avenues of you being able to support other people and other businesses as well. So I would say, just kind of look at, doing some researching on your own. You can definitely hit me up as well. I'll definitely love to talk about anybody with accounting too as well. So, if you are interested, just kind of want to know some exact specifics of where you are that speaks to where you are, you can definitely email me. We can definitely, get together on Zoom or a cup of coffee. We can definitely make that happen at daniel@skywardfs.com too as well. So there's a lot of different avenues, but it's a great industry, great avenue for endless possibilities from working for and supporting other companies or as an employee, but also being a CEO of your own firm one day too as well. So it's definitely possible.
Wow. Um, one of the things that I love about Daniel is he is such a servant. He's such a person that wants to partner with as many people as possible to help bring their dreams to
Yeah.
pass. Um, So yeah, if you are a person out there and you are gifted with accounting or gifted in finance, and you aspire to have a career in that area, or maybe you already are doing it, please take him up on his offer to connect with him. Maybe you guys can figure out ways to partner or to collaborate to make a bigger impact together. And I'm going to say this: if you're a person that owns a business, if you're a mom or dad, and you're saying, you know what, I want to learn the language of finance. I want to learn the language of accounting. I want to become a student of the language and best practices so that I can truly help my family reach that generational wealth goal one day. Man, please contact Skyward. I'm talking even I, finance is one of those areas that you never get there, meaning it should be a constant journey of getting better, kind of similar to leadership. Like leadership, you never arrive, right? You're going to consistently continue to grow. Parenting, there's no perfect parent. You're going to continue to grow. Marriage is going to continue to grow. Finance is very similar. There's always more to learn. There's always more that you can get better at, and how you can better be a steward of your finances. So, for example, like if you're trying to learn language, like okay, not only profit and loss, but things like net revenue, gross profit, COGS, like those are just again just different type of financial terms, and I'm learning because I'm being a student of it. Okay, but it's so important for you to learn it if you're trying to be, because I do believe it takes an expert, someone who's gifted and understands where you're going in order to reach that generational wealth goal. And then another thing that Daniel was making sure is clear to us is if you're a business and you're saying, you know what, I want to hire someone to help me with this. He is 100% available to be hired, and he will. You can hire him from a go as you grow kind of mindset. Did I say that right?
100%.
Okay.
100%.
So he's going to help you with a price that you can afford. And then as you make more money, you can then begin to compensate him for what is actually he's supposed to be paid. So I love that as well. So if you're trying to learn the language, or if you need to hire, or if you're like, man, I actually want to become a partner or a staff person, man, Daniel said, I'm 100% here.
Yeah.
So is there anything else, man, that you want to say to America before we sign off today?
Yeah, I would definitely say one of the things that kind of prohibits someone to hire someone, particularly when it pertains to anything with money, is the guilt, or the shame.
Mm.
So I definitely want to just speak to that there is no shame in Skyward. There is no shame in Skyward. Everybody's starting off at some place. So the quicker, the better. But as long as you get in the air, there's no shame in Skyward. You don't have to feel ashamed about where you are, of things that you've done, mistakes you may have made from a financial standpoint. 'Cause we can always make it better. We can always make it better. We were talking about profitability earlier, things like that in red and black. Things in red aren't final. You could
Wow.
be in red 1 month and black the next 13 months. So I definitely just want to encourage you guys to don't feel any shame, don't feel any guilt to mistakes that you made, but I would say feel some guilt if you don't want to do anything about it. But definitely encourage you to really just have the courage to reach out, if it's Skyward, if it's not, but reach out to someone, lean on an expert, and don't try to do it alone.
Wow. That shame and that guilt is so real. I'm gonna start calling you the finance doctor because, like, at the end of the day, in any area of our life that we're not, doing well, it does take a level of humility,
Yeah,
to say, you know what, I'm going to get some help. And I really appreciate the no shame culture that you've created. Like from day one, he's like, man, I know that this is a tough area for people to allow
yeah,
people to look at
yeah,
is finances, because you do feel like you're going to be judged.
yeah,
I'm telling you right now, that was never there. He understands that humans are humans, and people spend money.
yeah,
And so he's just trying to figure out what's the best way that he can help you steward that moving forward. And I think one of the toughest areas that people love, that one of the toughest areas that people want to expose people to is their personal finances or their business finances. And I really appreciate you making that very, very easy for me and my
Yeah.
company.
But that's the thing. There's two things that people are the least trusting with. It's
Mm.
their money and their kids.
Mm.
So I know that going into it. That's why I'm super big on integrity and doing things the right way, and transparency and things like that too as well. So I understand, what it's like to be on the other side. I just know how important those things are to people. I know how like to hold on to their vest and things like that. So I just want to speak to that, and more so continue to serve that, to clients, to my clients and things like that. I just know they just an ongoing thing. It's not necessarily something that goes away like a light switch. Like it just goes on and off. That also it's a journey that, it comes and goes, more so just stays even, so I'm definitely intentional on just speaking life into clients, because one of my favorite songs in the world is by Andy Mineo. It could be worse,
It could be worse.
and that's the reality of it, that no matter where where someone is financially, it could be worse, but also it could be better,
Wow.
so why not make it better?
It could be better. Guys, I think that's what we're going to sign off for today. Man, I hope that this podcast has blessed you. I hope that it's given you hope. One of the best things that give me hope is knowing that I'm not alone, that I have somebody there to help me. And if you are in a hopeless situation financially, if you're in a hopeless situation with your time due to trying to manage finances, man, there's hope. There's hope. So thank you for joining us in this Building Excellence podcast. Tune in for the next episode. All right, we're going to see you guys soon. Take care.